Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, we visit another neighborhood less traveled by tourists to try some ramen with a twist, visit the local temple and shrine, pick up a special confectionery only found here, and then we stroll around the shopping streets which have made this neighborhood famous. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's go. Welcome to Shimokitazawa. You picked this neighborhood for us to come check out. Why is that?
I did, for two reasons. The first reason is back in 2014, Vogue magazine voted this neighborhood as the coolest neighborhood to live in the world.
Wow, I thought it was just Japan, but it was the whole world, eh?
Yeah, the whole world.
Wow.
And the second reason is our last two trips to a quieter neighborhood in Tokyo, links up there, was such a success that I thought the third time would be another hit.
Yeah, so this hip neighborhood is known for its vintage and secondhand clothing. There's also a shrine and a temple we want to check out, and there's a confectionery that you can only buy here in this neighborhood. Let's get out there and start exploring. We're very hungry for lunch now. We're gonna go to a ramen restaurant, but they specialize in something we usually don't go for, and that's chicken-based broth. Usually it's a pork-based broth that you're seeing us eating, but this place has had really good reviews. People have raved about it. We've been actually wanting to try a chicken-based broth, so we're gonna go in here, get a couple bowls of ramen, and see what it's all about. Wow, that really blew my mind. That was amazing, but it's a bit noisy in here, so we'll have to catch you up outside. So as you heard inside, that blew my mind. That changed my opinion
of chicken ramen?
Of anything other than pork ramen. Yeah, that was amazing.
That was the first time I had chicken ramen, and I didn't think that it would be so rich.
Yeah.
It was rich and clear, but flavorful.
Yeah. So they do, I think, like two main types of ramen broth. They do the clear broth, which Nicole had, and they have a richer broth, which I opted for, which is odd because usually we go for the reverse. And then they serve the noodles two separate ways, either in the broth or separate on the side. And on the side, you dip the noodles into your broth yourself and you mix it up and then you eat it. And we both opted for the traditional in the broth ramen.
I got the thinner ramen and you got the thicker ramen.
Yeah, the thicker broth is served with the like almost fettuccine style noodle, and the broth is so thick that it does a really good job coating those broader noodles. So
we tried each other's and just I wish I had two tummies so I could have two bowls.
Yeah, oh, it was so good. The information for this place will be down in the description below. We highly recommend it. Mine on first taste almost tasted like drinking a yolk, like an egg yolk. It was so thick and rich like that. It was surprising.
I like that it's a real mom and pop shop. It's a husband and wife team that opened the shop. Today that we went, the wife had her day off, but he was in the back shoveling his wears away.
Yeah, it was really impressive. And it came with, we kind of went for the bigger bowl, which came with 2 kinds of meat. There was a chicken, which at first I thought was pork. It was so good. And then a slice of pork, and then an egg cut in half, the traditional ramen egg, a whole bunch of chopped up onions, which we watched them prepping right in front of us. I really like the place too, like open kitchen.
Yeah.
Could watch him doing his thing in there. Really fun.
I just like the bowl of noodles. My goodness, that broth and that noodles.
Yeah. So as you saw from my bowl, I enjoyed the broth because it was all gone.
Yep, not a drop was left in either of our bowls.
Yeah.
Now it's time to move on.
Yeah, so that was amazing lunch. I'm fueled to go on to our next spot. Not in my books.
Wow, this is such a nice and unexpected surprise.
Yeah, we found Shinganji Temple. This temple has been here for hundreds of years. It was actually built to be the final resting place of a prominent Tokugawa clan member, and they're the ones that ruled Japan for hundreds of years up until 1868.
That explains why, even though the grounds isn't vast, the 4 buildings on here are really beautiful and intricate and quite like spectacular.
Yeah, when I was first reading about this, I wasn't expecting it to have so many buildings. Like usually these smaller temples are just one main building, maybe a smaller one beside it, but there are about 4 buildings here.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. And the other notable thing about the grounds here is that there's actually a kindergarten. It's been here since the 50s.
That explains the style, and also like it looks like somebody had plucked a kindergarten school out of a children's book and built it and plucked it here.
Yeah.
And plopped it here. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Could you imagine just going to kindergarten here, surrounded by all this history?
No, it's just ideally beautiful too. Forget the history. They're 4. They don't know anything about history.
I guess that's true. Let's have a quick look around, and then we have to move on to our next spot, very close to the temple here.
Boy, did we find the neighborhood shrine to end all neighborhood shrines.
Yeah, literally 30 seconds down the street from the temple we were at, through a little residential area, we came to this shrine that we were looking for, and this is Kitazawa Hachiman Shrine, and it does totally feel like a neighborhood shrine. As we came to the big torii gates off the street, you look up to the shrine. It's up on the hillside, and there's a whole bunch of steps that will take you up. But at the base of the shrine is a playground, and it's full of kids and their parents just having a great time.
Everyone's out enjoying themselves.
Yeah, on Culture Day. It's a national holiday here.
I think you can hear them right now.
Yeah. So this shrine is the protector shrine for the northern part of the precinct that we're in right now. And there's 7 shrines on the grounds here. The main one behind us, and then 6.
Yeah.
Yes, 7 minus 1 is 6 smaller shrines around it, and they are of varying sizes. Some like really small ones, and then some relatively large ones. And the craftsmanship on the smaller ones is astounding.
Yeah, you're saying they remind you of dioramas.
Yeah, they're like little dioramas of the big shrine. They're not exactly like one-for-one replicas, but just the craftsmanship and the styling of them.
It's like someone took a big shrine except built a small miniature version of it.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. And did you see the old one they have over there?
Oh yeah, the ancient one?
Yeah, it's an ancient small one that's been put into a protective casing. It's got like a plastic roof over it so it doesn't get damaged in the rain, I guess. But this is I just can't imagine having this in my backyard. Like literally there are people's backs of their homes facing this shrine grounds here, and it's just super peaceful.
Did you give the family of rabbits a shout out?
I did not.
Oh.
On the little trail through the trees up to some of the little shrines, there is a little family of rabbits.
Actually, I think it's Peter. I could be wrong, but I think it's Peter Rabbit and friends.
I don't know my rabbits well enough to be able to tell you.
So we have a bunch of British rabbits who've invaded the Japanese shrine.
It's totally possible. So we've gotten some culture in today on Culture Day, surprisingly.
Yeah.
We headed out to the hipster shopping district and managed to come and see these two amazing sites, the temple and the shrine.
Good bonus.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a quick look around and show you around the grounds here, and then we're gonna head back into hanging out with the hipsters. We've come to a spot that you found when researching this area that I was totally down for.
Yep, I knew it was going to be right up your street.
Yeah, what is it?
It's the Totoro Cream Puff House.
Yes, this place makes Totoro-shaped cream puffs, various types of cream, like different flavors. And the bakery itself is almost a reason enough to come out here and check it out. I'm hoping the cream puff is good. We haven't eaten it yet because it's really busy in there.
The cream puff better be darn good. They were asking like almost 500 yen for this thing.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he comes in his own little house.
Yeah, carrying house.
With the cooler.
Yeah, and it's out of the way a little bit. It's not right in the middle of all the hipster shopping areas. It's kind of in the residential area. It just looks like a house that's been converted to a bakery. And when we were walking over, you were kind of skeptical that we were on the right track.
Yeah, and then we saw the hipsters coming from all directions, verging on the house, and then we knew.
Well, the fairy lights didn't hurt either. But this building, the little house that they're making these in, is just so picturesque. It looks like something that fell out of a Ghibli production.
It does.
It's including the tree out front. This tall tree that's covered in fairy lights and topped with a blinking star. You can kind of see it behind us. There's the star. And it's end of day and they're running out. We were lucky we got here because there weren't very many left.
No.
So we're gonna head back into the shopping area. We haven't had a chance to really explore it yet. The temples and shrines kind of monopolized our time, but we're gonna go and see what we find in the shopping district and take you along with us. As you're strolling around this neighborhood, you'll notice that the streets are very narrow, and that's a side effect of the area being spared from the World War II bombings. And it's making for some havoc today, because when cars come, it's kind of like a mad dash to get out of the way. There's not a lot of room for them to squeeze by, and they're always slowly trying to inch their way around the shopping streets here. There's also not a lot of parking, or any parking for that matter. So when a car needs to stop, it kind of blocks the entire road. So keep an eye out for that. If you hear a car coming up behind you, get out of the way.
This neighborhood is really jumping and thriving.
Yeah, it's gone through various iterations over the years, but it really started to come into prominence after World War II when this area became a black market. You could come here and get all kinds of goods that you just weren't able to normally get in the stores in Tokyo at the time. And that again is because it was spared from the bombings of World War II. This area was pretty much left intact. So all the infrastructure was here and all they had to do was find goods that they weren't supposed to have and then they were able to sell them. Walking around the neighborhood today, it's really hard to believe that this used to be a farming district. They used to cultivate rice here, and that's up until 1923 when the Great Kanto earthquake devastated Tokyo, and so many Tokyoites had to be displaced out to the outskirts of the city itself, and many of them were brought here, and that's when this started to become more of an urban district than a farming district. And then in 1927, when the train station that we came into was built, that even helped to further develop the area. And at that point, the train station became the center of this area, which displaced the shrine we were at earlier, which used to be the center of activity in this neighborhood.
When we rolled into Hipster Town, we knew exactly where we wanted to go for lunch. But now dinner time has come around and we did not plan that far ahead. So we've come across a place which I like to call hit or miss. The outside looks like it could be good, but it looks like it could be a miss too. So we decided to take a gamble. We've placed our orders and we're gonna hope for the best. It's very busy. The waiter just shooed a whole bunch of people out who tried to get in and get a table because the place is already full. So we do have a spot. That's something.
This restaurant has a very unusual concept. It's kind of like all you can eat curry sauce and naan. I don't ever heard of that before. They also have a daily pork cutlet special, which they have limited numbers per day. Luckily, we've managed to order that, but you can get that. You can get the all-you-can-eat naan curry set, which you have all of the curry you can eat. They have 4 varieties, and they'll keep bringing you out naan or cheese naans as much as you can stuff into you. They also have smaller, just sort of couple naans and then 1 curry sets. But it's this all-you-can-eat naan set that they're really pushing, which I'm kind of shocked about. But I'm happy that we were able to get the pork cutlet because it's kind of this interesting fusion between Japanese food and Indian food. So we'll see what it's like when it gets here.
No complaints with their curry here. Or actually, I got butter chicken. It's nice and sweet. There's a lot of chicken in here, and the spices are very flavorful, and the consistency is creamy.
I was a little skeptical about this place, I'm not gonna lie. Nicole thought it was gonna be good, and then I kind of felt like pork cutlet, so I was down for it. But man, the cheese naan is amazing. It's got a really thick layer of cheese inside the naan somehow, and it goes really well with the curries. Nicole got the butter chicken, and I got the pork keema curry, and it really is shocking. I'm really shocked how good that is, and the pork cutlet's also really good. It's a little bit greasy, it's greasier than I would like, but it is also tasty, and they have salt that you can dip it in, which just like super highlights the flavors of the pork, or you can dip it into the curries, and that's also really good. So I'm really happy with this find. I feel like it might be a student hangout because we're basically surrounded by people quite a bit younger than us. But it doesn't seem to be a problem. We're enjoying the curry just as much as they are.
I've come up with a name for what we had tonight. Fusion Confusion.
Fusion Confusion? Why is that?
Because it's fusion Japanese food and Indian food together, and it caused us some confusion.
Maybe at first, but flavor-wise,
Yeah.
my mouth is not confused. It
No.
works perfectly well together. It makes a lot of sense.
It was a very satisfying meal.
The curry on the pork was surprisingly really good.
Yeah.
Even the butter chicken with the pork cutlet went really well. But I think for me, the star of the show was the cheese naan. That was incredible.
Yeah.
The cheese was really generous, really gooey, and just thick. And I think we were both saying that this meal was very satisfying.
Yeah.
And it was because it was comfort food.
Yeah.
And for me, that cheesy naan was comfort food. Kind of like it's getting on the lines of pizza, bread and cheese, just missing tomato sauce. But it's really good.
I like the naan because it was obviously fresh. It was fresh, hot, and it just came from the oven. And who can say no to fresh, hot naan?
Yeah, and your second naan came after we already started eating.
Yeah.
He looked a little concerned, like we thought that he was going to be gypping us, but then we realized that they're just making more and they're going to bring it out.
Yeah.
So you got a really hot naan.
I did. Is this place a hit or a miss?
I would say it's definitely a hit. I really enjoyed my meal. I wouldn't put a recommendation on this that you'd have to come out here just for this meal. But if you're in the area and you feel like this kind of thing, like a curry and some naan, yeah, totally hit this place up.
I think if you're feeling like you want comfort and you're being dirty, this is the place to come.
Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna finish up here and head out there. Maybe do a bit more shopping. What time is it? The shops might be closing, so we might be heading home, but let's finish up and get out there. Did you enjoy all the shopping in this neighborhood?
I love the shopping in this neighborhood, and I'm shocked because they were saying that this area is really known for vintage clothing, and I'm not really big on vintage clothing, but coming to the shops here, I realized that I see why it's a big deal. The people who own the shops really did a good job pulling together new outfits with old stuff, creating a whole new look on their own. And it just really feels really like cool and hip, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, well, you have the students of the 70s to thank for this area. How we see it today, started to take form in the 70s when a huge influx of students started to come and live here because their old stomping grounds in Shibuya were starting to get too expensive as Shibuya was getting really developed back then. So this became known as like the new student quarter.
It feels very bohemian.
Yeah, and then that kind of just led to this really cool hip vibe that it's got going on still today.
It's seriously hip. Like the vibe here is awesome, and I'm so happy we came.
Yeah, so am I. But speaking of coming, it's time to get going. So we had a really fun day here. We hope you enjoyed coming along with us. We still have our Totoro to eat. We're gonna eat that when we get home, and we're gonna show you what that looks like. But for now, we're freezing, and we're gonna get back in the train station and head home. We're back home from Shimokitazawa. We had a great time there, and it is time to try this confectionery. So you saw us at the Totoro bakery. It's not what it's called. I'll put the name of it actually here. It's a mouthful, but they do make Totoros. Totoros filled with cream puff Totoros. Nicole is having a hard time wanting to cut them open. So I'm gonna have to do the dirty deed.
Don't do it!
I'm gonna do it. He's full of chestnut cream. It's gonna be good. So here he is. I'm just gonna cut him straight down the middle. I think that's the best way. Kind of looks like he wants to be eaten. Let's remove his leaf, and we're gonna go straight down the middle here. Hopefully he slices nice and easy. Not so bad. Okay, he is samurai'd. His exterior is pretty soft. There he is. Cream with chunks of chestnuts. So let's give him a try. His outside is soft and got a bit of spring to it. I'm glad you didn't want any.
Huh?
The custard itself has a bit of a chestnut flavor, but it's those little chunks of chestnut that really shine through here. His exterior is pretty good puff pastry, but it's all about the cream. Like, look how much cream. It's mostly cream in here. That is excellent. It was worth having Nicole carry him all the way home. You want to try him?
Yes. I can't believe I'm biting into poor Totoro. It's not so bad now that you've done the dirty work, though. He is lighter than I was expecting now that half of him is gone. Oh, here goes nothing. Sorry, Totoro. Yeah, it's definitely all about the inside. I don't taste very much of the outside. It's the cream. The cream texture is, it's not custard-like. It's not whipped cream-like. It's something in between. And it actually looks like mayonnaise, but it tastes really soft and fluffy.
It's not overly sweet either.
No, the cream is amazing, actually. The more I'm eating it, the more I'm like, I just want to take a spoon and just go for the cream only.
Are we going back to Shimokitazawa tomorrow to get more?
I don't think we'll get any more. The hipsters probably have devoured the rest, anything that's remaining.
We hope you enjoyed the day with us in Shimokitazawa. Really cool neighborhood. Awesome shrine and temple.
It's so worth going.
It was such an amazing trip to go out there and explore it for the day. We highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for something a little bit more off the beaten path.
And something a bit more authentic. It feels like all the cool kids moved from Harajuku to I won't bother saying it. But yeah, do go visit it.
Right. And if you do go see the temples and the shrines, you will be rewarded with some interesting walks through some residential areas, which were really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great day. So definitely check it out, and we'll see you tomorrow for whatever we get up to tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed visiting the hip neighborhood of Shimokitazawa with us. If you did, please don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. We'll see you next week.